All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this Pittsburgh City Commission meeting, Tuesday, April 26, 2022. Everyone, please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'd like to welcome Pete Mayo for tonight's prayer from Ascension Via Christi.
Thank you. Let us pray. Dear wise and loving God, thank you for your many blessings on behalf of all who gather here today. May your grace be with the people you have called to lead this community in which we live, work, and play. Preserve us from the dangers of threatening weather, contagious disease, and political discord. Grant us the wisdom and courage to know and do what is right and good. May we speak out when it is time to speak out, and listen patiently and receptively when it is time to listen, and always be guided by the spirit of community, justice, and love. This we pray in the name of all that we hold sacred and holy. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
All right, I'd like to open public input. If anyone would like to come up and speak, you have 5 minutes. State your name and address. All right, seeing no one, close public input. Moving on to the consent agenda. Is there any items to be removed?
C and D.
All right, item C and D. All right. Item A, approval of the April 12th, 2022 City Commission meeting minutes. Item B, approval of the order vacating part of Randall Drive in the East Meadows addition and authorize the mayor to sign on behalf of the city at the request of Justin and Annie Beasley. Item E, approval of staff request to utilize the sales tax capital operating fund to purchase a new John Deere 5055 utility tractor in the amount of $28,430.95 and a Trimex 24,000 mower in the amount of $41,090 for a total purchase price of $59,520.95 after trade for use by the Parks and Recreation Department at the Four Oaks Golf Course, and authorize staff to issue the necessary purchase order. Item F, approval of the appropriation ordinance for the period ending April 26, 2022, subject to the release of HUD expenditures when funds are received.
Move
Right.
to approve the consent agenda.
Moved by Dawn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ron. Roll call vote.
Brooks,
Yes?
Height,
Yes.
McNay,
Yes.
Munsell,
Yes.
Sigley.
Yes.
All right. Item C, approval of staff request to utilize the sales tax capital operating fund to purchase a 2016 John Deere Pro Gator 2030A from Professional Turf Products LP of Lenexa, Kansas, for a total purchase price of $14,045 for use by the Parks and Recreation Department at the Four Oaks Golf Course, and authorize the staff to issue the necessary purchase order. Good evening, Toby.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. What can I answer for you?
Well, Toby, I seen you earlier. Could you pull a picture up for that? There, nope.
No. Let's see, the Pro Gator. I don't think we have a, oh, there it is.
There we go. All right. I thank you for getting them pictures so people that might be watching can see what we're spending their money.
We need to thank Matt Bacon for helping us too.
All right, good deal. No, I have some questions about it, Toby. It's a 2016. Do you have any issues with it being that year?
No, Chuck, I don't, because availability for these things are, I don't know if anybody's tried to buy a side-by-side lately, but they are just, they're hard to find. New, there's a delay in them. This model Chris looked at and thought met all the criteria that we would need, so he didn't have any issues with going with used. It fit in the budget better, allowed us to do the next item too.
And the 1,940 hours is not a lot of hours, or is it?
Not for a Pro Gator like that. Probably a year's worth of everyday use, I don't know where it's coming from. It could have been a special use one, like where they just hook a spray rig on or something like that. So, no, the hours do not concern me on that.
Does it come with any warranty?
I'm gonna guess there's probably a 30-day warranty.
30 days.
I mean, something to that effect, probably not an extended type of warranty.
Do you anticipate any maintenance issues with the year of this?
I don't anticipate any issues, anything other than the typical, day-to-day maintenance and, routine maintenance that Steve performs with
Is this-
oil changes and stuff.
Is this gas or diesel? I didn't.
I think this one was gas.
Gas. 1,940 hours is a lot of hours, even on one. I've owned 3 of the, not Gators, but 3 of them. So you're gonna have some maintenance issues, no question about that. New ones run about anywhere from 17 to 25,000.
Yeah.
Look that up, so, if we could get a new one, you'd be better off long-term, but if you can't get one, that's different.
Yeah, the availability is the biggest issue right now on this equipment.
So hopefully this one will last. What do you anticipate?
I would hope that we could get at least 7 years out of it.
All right.
Any further questions?
I move to approve.
Motion by Don, seconded by Stu. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. It passes. All right. Item D, approval of staff request to utilize the sales tax capital operating fund to purchase a 2016 Toro Workman GTX electric from Professional Turf Products LP of Lenexa, Kansas for a total purchase price of $10,764.38 for the use by the Parks and Rec Department at the Four Oaks Golf Course, and authorize the staff to issue the necessary purchase order.
It's basically the same question, but I forgot to ask, are these 2 pieces of equipment replacing some equipment?
Yeah, they're replacing I'm gonna guess a 70s model Cushman.
Oh,
And
wow.
then probably a 80s, maybe early 90s model Gator that are, at a later date will be surplused out.
Sure. So on this one, 285 hours, that's not a lot of hours?
Yeah, this is a demo unit.
Okay.
And so that's not a lot of hours, so.
So Toby, is electric, so batteries like similar to a golf cart?
It's basically a
Have
red
those been
golf
changed,
cart.
or do you know if they're coming out with fresh batteries? or-
They will be the original batteries with them, so, we're gonna probably look at battery replacement probably in the 3 to 5 year range.
Would
Those-
they do that up front? I mean, is that something they could do in the deal of, I don't know how many, is it got come with 6 batteries, or?
I'm guessing it's like a golf cart and probably has 6 batteries. We can certainly ask.
Might be worth negotiating on something like that.
What
Yeah,
was
'cause
the,
typically, those golf cart batteries are about 8 years.
and what's the price of a battery replacement?
I know from experience here, just looking for my own cart, they're running about $100 to $150 a battery.
How many batteries did it take?
6.
Be 6 would be my guess, yeah.
Oh, my next question, same thing, because of availability over new, over used?
Yeah, we're availability and able to fit it into the budget with the money that we had.
If we could get new batteries put into it, for however you guys negotiate, I just think it'd be good to start off. I think with an electric car, you're probably not gonna have a lot of other issues, except,
Right.
within 2 years or less, you're probably gonna be looking at a pretty good expense to replace that. So whatever you think, I would move to approve, the purchase, but with that, asterisk that maybe, consider getting new batteries in it up front.
We'd certainly ask.
How many items are you buying from them? The tractor, you're buying everything from them, aren't you?
I believe so.
Yeah, maybe so.
I actually know the Toro is coming from Professional Turf Products. The tractor and the triplex are coming from Kansas Golf and Turf.
Oh, Kansas Golf.
I would second Stu's motion.
All right. Moved by Stu, seconded by Don. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the motion passes. All right, and then moving on to
Thanks,
consider.
Toby.
Thanks, Toby.
Thanks, yes, thank you so much. Moving on to consider the following. Review of bids, award of sale. The City of Pittsburgh advertised for bids to be received until 11 a.m. on April 26, 2022, for the purchase of general obligation bonds, Series 2022A, to be acted upon by the governing body at its meeting commencing at 5:30 PM. The city's Director of Finance, along with a representative from Baker Tilly, the city's financial advisor, will present a verbal recommendation. Good evening, Larissa.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. This bond sale is in regards to our East Quincy project. Tonight, we have Jack Ryan Fieldman from Baker Tilly, which is our financial advisor. And so I will turn it over to him to let you talk about the bids that were open today. Thank you.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm Jack Ryan Feldman, Director with Baker Tilly Municipal Advisors. We're the city's independent financial advisor as it relates to debt issuances. Today we opened bids at 11 a.m. for the city's Series 2022A bonds. This is a permanent financing of the Series 2021A temp note that was taken out last year. We received 10 bids, which is a lot. With the winning bid was 2.66%. So that's your interest rate on these bonds. The winner is UMB Bank, so it's a local bank. These bonds were rated by S&P. The city's bond rating is AA- with a stable outlook. The rating agencies, they use a framework to analyze all cities' creditworthiness, and it's a framework based on your local economy, your budget, your surplus, your liquid surpluses, your debt profile, your pension profile, and then the institutional legal framework that you operate in by virtue of being in the state of Kansas. So what I'll say about the credit rating is that the city of Pittsburgh controls the controllables, where your financial management score that you get from them is the highest that you can get. All your financial policies are standard. That they're all best practices for your long-range financial planning, your budget practices, your budget policies, and all of those are received the top marks from Standard & Poor's. You've got very strong budget flexibility, very strong liquidity, like I said, the very strong management, a good debt profile with rapid amortization of all your outstanding debt. So all of those are looked on very, very highly by S&P. As I mentioned, you did receive 10 bids on the bonds. That's great in this market environment. If you've looked at your 401k lately, bonds haven't been doing so well with the interest rate, the sharp rate moves since the beginning of the year. So honestly, I was going to be very happy to get 3 to report good news for you today, and to get 10 is great, and that's just a comment on the good name that Pittsburgh has within the municipal bond world. So I'll stop there, and happy to answer any questions that you may have. But it is, as your financial advisor, my recommendation to go with UMB on the bonds and approve the ordinance and resolution that are coming up.
Can you tell us what the range was?
Oh, sure. The spread between all the bids was it was 32 basis points between the high and low bid. So that is a pretty big range, and it's the reason why we do the method of sale that we recommended, is because all of those different investment banks and regional banks have different strategies and different outlooks on the interest rate environment moving forward. So try to increase the amount of competition to the most possible, and you all were the beneficiaries of that.
So the interest rate, did that come in kind of where you thought it would be?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to pinpoint, the moving ranges. I think the interest rates moved on the order of like 50 basis points, so 0.5% from the time that we started the process to when we finished today. So certainly, it's just a matter of when the ball stops moving, when the environment that we're in.
Any other questions? All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
Yep, I would move to approve the recommendation.
Moved by Dawn, second,
I'll second it.
seconded by Chuck. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you so much. All right. Item B, consider the following. Ordinance number S 1084. Consider approval of ordinance number S 1084, authorizing and providing for the issuance of general obligation bonds, Series 2022A of the City of Pittsburgh, Kansas, providing for the levy and collection of annual tax for the purpose of paying the principal of interest and on said bonds as they become due, authorizing certain other documents and actions in connection therewith, and making certain covenants with respect thereto.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Chuck, or excuse me, Stu.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Chuck. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. Item C, resolution number 1252. Consider approval of resolution number 1252, prescribing the form and details of authorizing and directing the sale and delivery of general obligation bonds, Series 2022A of the City of Pittsburgh, Kansas, previously authorized by ordinance number S 1084 of the issuer, making certain covenants and agreements to provide for the payment and security thereof, and authorizing certain other documents and actions connected therewith. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Moved by Ron,
Second.
seconded by Stu. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. Item D, intergovernmental agreement. Kansas Department of Health and Environment. Consider staff recommendation to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment in which KDHE will provide various environmental services to the City of Pittsburgh on a per-project basis. Okay.
Mayor and Commissioners.
Good evening.
Appreciate it. This is an agreement that actually KDH&E has asked us to consider previously. We have a number of environmental projects that the city has gotten into and will probably get into in the future. For example, the project that was on North Walnut, the one that was on 4th Street. So there's a lot of environmental projects around the city. This allows us to work, instead of contracting all the work out ourselves to different various environmental contractors when the work's needed, this allows us to contract directly with KDH&E, who has a relationship with the EPA. They already have a set of expertise within their house, in-house, and they also have a lot of connections with contractors that it just makes the whole process of getting the environmental work done easier for us, and it takes advantage of KDH&E's expertise in this area, as opposed to us managing it all ourselves.
So it kind of takes the middleman out of it.
It helps.
Is it?
I mean, it is a relation, KDH&E and EPA already have a formal arrangement between themselves. These funds that we would use to fund the projects through KDH&E would all be EPA funds. It's not, there won't be any city funds involved in this.
Can you give us an example of what various environmental services are?
Yes, there are a number of things that they can do for us. They have a great deal of capacity themselves. But it'd be things like taking samples of a particular area. It would be analyzing it, at lab analytical work for the samples. It could be negotiating certain contracts with other contractors or consultants for specific work. There may be some specific environmental need based on the nature and the history of the particular land. They do all that background work. They do what's called a phase 1 and a phase 2 and even a phase 3 work. All of those are increasingly more detailed analyses of the environmental conditions on a particular piece of land. Was that
Jay, you
enough?
said the EPA funds, if we find something. Does the property owner that might have created the issue, are they on the hook to pay for the cleanup, or is?
Oftentimes they are. There's a formal designation called responsible party. That's an actual legal term. And if there is a responsible party, the EPA often forces those responsible parties to be engaged in the costs. All right. The money that we'd be spending with KDH&E is money we will already been granted from the EPA. Right? It's money that's already, the EPA has already said, we want you to do this assessment of this land, here's a grant, and then we would contract with KDH&E to get the work done.
Another thing, could you explain for people that might be watching what a brownfield properties? What's
Oh,
the
that's a
difference?
good-
What is that?
Well, thanks for asking. It's a good question. Brownfield properties are unused space that typically in any environment, could be a rural or an urban environment, that has some element of it that is unusable or undevelopable, all right? It could be for a variety of reasons. There could be just junk on it, you know? There could be potentially a history of hazardous materials handling. Of course, Pittsburgh has property like that. But it basically is unused and difficult to develop land. And the brownfields concept is very broad, but it typically has some kind of environmental degradation on it, some sort of environmental hazard that's on the property. That's a brownfield.
What kind of grant money are you talking about that's out there that do you already know about it? They
Yes.
say it's there and they want
Yes,
you to
we-
use it for this specific location?
We received a grant from the EPA to do some assessment work in the area, the Mid-City Renaissance area, which is that area around Mission Clay.
Like what dollar figure are you talking about?
It's a little under $300,000.
300,000. Is that going to be enough for there? That's a pretty big brownfield.
Probably not, all right? But it's where you get started, right? We'll develop a plan with them about where to do the testing and what to look for.
Jay, solidifying that agreement between KDH&E and the city is that's the step we're taking, right? That's-
What we're taking right now is allowing us to enter into an agreement with them to do that work, to do that assessment work.
Okay, so this is specifically for that? There's no other place in Pittsburgh, like up on North Broadway or any place else
Well,
like that?
this agreement will actually let us do work anywhere in Pittsburgh,
Anywhere.
okay? But the money I currently have is for
Oh,
that particular
okay,
area.
I got you. So these other places, like in the past, where the smelters were around Pittsburgh, and people came in and dug up the dirt and took samples, that's not what you're talking about?
That work is probably already done, all right, and it should be completed, all right? Usually there's an agreement that's put in place after that work is done, where the city has to do monitoring on a regular basis. That's the case with the North Walnut project that we did. But there are other places around Pittsburgh that have not been cleaned up yet.
Right, okay. So is there anything in the works for those?
Not yet.
Specifically north?
Not yet, all right.
Okay.
But we can apply for funds to clean those areas up as well.
So, and really the trigger for that would be that something or someone or some entity would want to develop that land.
You typically don't undertake those unless there's a potential use for that
Right.
particular land.
Right.
So going back to,
Potential health.
Health hazard.
issue
Or
with
obviously,
development.
potential, if there's some identified health
Right.
problem, for sure.
so also going back to the brownfield east, somebody owns that, but they're just letting it sit there for eternity right at the moment. And that's part of what this is going to help do.
It's one way of moving it forward,
Moving.
right? A lot of times those properties, the brownfields, sit there because the owner can't clean it up, can't afford to clean it up, or doesn't want to undertake that effort. And it just sits there indefinitely. And hopefully with the brownfields funds, we can go in there and kind of encourage the property owner to go in and clean it up, or to give it to us and let us do it.
Is there any projections on how much it's going to cost to clean that up if that all occurs in a time manner?
For the particular grant I'm working with right now, one of the goals of that grant is to do an assessment and a remediation plan. And the remediation plan part gives you some rough estimates about how much it would cost to clean it up. So,
And the cleanup, if I may.
Sure.
That depends on what the use would be, which we don't know yet.
Yeah.
So it's a hard one to answer.
Yeah.
the use is defined to a certain degree by how bad how bad the contamination is, all right? If it's really bad, it costs a lot of money to take it to the level where you could have houses on it, for example, residential.
Those things are all in baseball, fifth or sixth inning. This is the first pitch, basically.
Oh, right.
It really helps us get
I would
get
move
there.
to approve this agreement between the city and KDH.
All right, did anybody else have any other questions?
I don't have any other question, but thanks for explaining
Yes.
answering our question, Jay, and I think it helps.
Good
Second.
question.
All right, moved by Stu, seconded by Ron. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, and non-agenda reports and requests. Darren, do you have anything?
Half our staff didn't make it. They're all running around chasing kids, but I think we're okay.
All right?
I have a question, Darren. Last week, for a couple days, and then again Monday, I seen a fire truck at the intersection of 23rd and Rouse. And I was just wondering, there was no firefighters there, but the fire truck was there. What was that about?
I know the answer to that.
Somebody knows.
So, when the fire department got their new rescue truck, Rescue 7 became obsolete and they were removing it from their fleet. So we bought a new truck for a water distribution division, and that truck has a built-in air compressor tied to that truck. Well, unfortunately, we're having some manufacturer design issues with that truck. So that truck is currently out of state being repaired. So our water distribution crew is currently driving around in a firefighter truck.
Oh, there you go.
We've removed all the stickers, but we are going to be using that truck with our water distribution crew for a while, which it fits great. It actually works
So-
real well for us, but
You're using it temporary, so.
we are using it temporary, but it's going to be
But
a
the
little
pump,
bit.
I mean, it's still a fire truck. The pump's still on
The
it.
pump is still on the truck. Yes.
So I'd put like the request, once we get the truck you've got ordered coming in, that we take that fire truck, and I know we have before, sell it to a smaller department or donate it to a smaller department, because I'd like to see a piece of fire equipment go to a fire department that can't afford that kind of equipment. And I know that truck is a very good truck. When I was on the fire department, that truck was brand new. And I've been off for a while, but I think it's still got a lot of years left in it that smaller departments could probably.
Well, the current outlook, we're going to be using it for a while. So, but yeah, we'll put it on note, and we are able to use it within our own fleet to keep us going right now.
And then you will try to find a home for it with
Yep.
another department.
Yep.
Thank you, Matt.
So your problem with this other truck, is it unusual?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's part of a new model. Yeah, it's a complicated. We've tried to have it done locally, and it's a manufacturing issue. So it's under warranty. So we're trying to get it resolved.
Well, good luck with that.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Man with the answers. Thank you. All right. Anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Don, moved by Don, seconded by Ron. There you go. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming.